couldn't have introduced this video any better myself. Thank you, holy dragon of cleanliness. That's right, dragons. The bone-busting, ear-shattering, sometimes two-legged personifications of friendship and destruction. Everything they do is big, loud, and proud. But what makes today's title memorable for many back in the winter season last year is how big the show's heart truly is. Among other things. Man, that sounded like a Hallmark movie intro. Blah. Oh well, time to fly into the details now. Octavio, away! Whoosh. This is a story about longing. A type of longing that dawns on you ever so often if you've ever lived alone for a period of time. While the slice of life and dragon hijinks do keep things lively, it also balances out a surprising realism to wanting to be close to someone or have a sense of bonding in life. Seen through the eyes and actions of a single, disengaged businesswoman, Miss Kobayashi lives out her days making her 9-to-5 in a satisfactory, yet tired manner. The intro scenes come off as monotonous as you can tell she is doing okay, but subconsciously wouldn't mind something to spice up her routine. What she didn't know is that her spicy needs would be answered by, well, just look at it! Toru, as this dragon is named, literally busts into this woman's life with a roaring thunder, trying to impress the confused human as newfound hijinks ensue. Along the way, more dragons and characters are introduced, some more friendly than others, as both parties come together with reckless abandon, only to realize that the memories they forge become more inseparable to truly last a lifetime. In hindsight, Dragon Maid brings some heavy weight into its talks about social society and the value of lifetime than what has seemed to be advertised as. My two favorite aspects of this series reflect such that theme, and why it's still important to cherish those around you even if one day things might change. I like that Kobayashi's loneliness is more down to earth and not pitied. Sure, she has some family issues, but not ones that feel drowned out by the thematics of anime standards. Instead, her problems seem more relatable to me, which gets more uplifted when something extraordinary happens in her life. The dragons also share the semblance of loneliness to some degree. Fafnir, who, rightfully so, feels like humanity has done him wrong for, seeing them as bad guys and tools, is at least open to the idea of bonding with his human roommate and trying to figure out what Toru's point of view is, even a little. The same can be said for the Justice Dragon, but put a pin on this, we'll get to her later. I like that the simple presence of the dragons assimilating into society is handled with care, even if the scenarios could just be passed off as done before. Speaking of things that are always done before, the fan service was there, but surprisingly, I didn't find it as intrusive as I thought it would be. In fact, when it was there, I found a little genuine chuckle at it instead of the quote-unquote box that needed to be checked. Call it tactful fan service or a well-placed integration, but nothing of that caliber felt egregious is what I'm trying to say. I guess to me, what makes this show so special is that it hits all the trappings of a feel-good anime without having to feel like it must do something to break the mold, which in my opinion, I think helped it stand out more from all the other anime of that season. It's memorable because it's focusing on being written well and enjoyable, and that's all that matters sometimes, you know? Though, there are a few things I do have issues with, and if you're one of those people in the comments who was ready for this segment, let me just say, every con I say in this video I don't see as egregious as I normally do in reviews. Because slice of lives, especially ones done so well, don't really need their lore or logic to work so much. And sometimes cinema sinning, every little detail can take the fun out of just watching the anime. So, there's your disclaimer. Now then, its world building is lazy. There, I said it. Or should I say for the anime's runtime, I feel like whatever lore they tried to say about the dragons felt lazily slapped together at the last second. The biggest example is when Elma finally showed up. I couldn't have been the only one to be disappointed that she was in the promotional art, the OP, the ED, and all the other things this entire time, only to finally show up in episode 8. I see this trope a lot in slice of lives where certain characters and concepts are introduced either only once and never used again, or slapped at the end because they needed some kind of climax. Normally this is done because the work isn't confident in its current tone, but here it's like if you're a college student and you waited till the final weekend to write your thesis paper, upon which your teacher asks you why you only put the point of the essay at the end, leaving a huge stinking F that haunts you for the rest of the semester. Yep, I'm talking from experience. You may excuse this issue as a lack of time, but I say because they know the length of time that a show needs to be done by, they need to chart out a path accordingly or improvise with the original concepts. Also, I was saving this point till now, but while I found the tongue-in-cheek nature of the anime's titles and meta humor to be enjoyable, I felt it also was their lazy safety net of saying, we can do this because we can. And sometimes it backfires on many occasions. For example, episode 7 titled Summer Staples, the fan service episode frankly, just wallows on any creative attempt to have a good impression. The jokes, fan service, and heartfelt moments are all written well, but because it's doing the we know we're an anime thing, it's just kind of pompous to me. Oh, and regardless of what the type of tone is in the original work, for all you well actually people out there, I'm just saying, sometimes I didn't find it funny when they are openly admitting in the final episode that they're adding some dramatic impact because why the hell not? Because the world building wasn't such a big priority, the final episode comes out of nowhere like it's from a completely different anime and I didn't like it. Let me just set you a scene right now. Oh, you need a jam stored in the pantry, Ma? Okay, I'll get it for you. Upon which you open the pantry door to find the pain and suffering of warlords on a bloodied battlefield. Once you see that, there's no going back to that innocent jam. Only chaos and fear. You see what I'm saying? Good, let's move on. Kyoto Annie made a cute anime. Is anyone surprised? No, but seriously, I appreciate how cutely distinct the animation is compared to their other outings. Obviously, this is achieved through their coloring book backgrounds, tinted line work, and pastel colorization. Anyone with papers can see that 2 Dragon miles away. But what I love is how Dragon Maid feels childlike and more willing to bend to the rules of character stretching almost to a cartoonish extent. Something to keep things lively and detached from the usual trend of anime realism. Animation for me is meant to push boundaries, meant to be weird, colorful, and off. Aww, and you may think Toru's cut-off tail still looks adorable, right? But what I see is an unsevered, pulsating piece of dragon flesh redrawn to the sign of a cute, wiggly worm. Ugh, it makes me shiver sometimes. Even if Dragon Maid doesn't pull a flip-flappers, it still does a fine job setting itself apart from the other Keone Annie fare, without feeling like it's something they wouldn't do. Plus, do I have to mention the fact that Dragon Maid is memeable as fuck? This is a show for the modern era. It's got cute faces, bouncy physics, and kana. Just kana. In terms of music is concerned, I happily enjoyed both the opening and ending as a catchy time I rarely skipped. The visuals of each perfectly framed what the show was about in such an energetically heartwarming manner. Am I gonna talk about the soundtrack this time? Nope, didn't care about it again. Well, there's that, which leaves my impressions of the Funimation dub, and I don't know. I'm kind of in the middle with this one. If I were to talk about just the main leads, it kind of sums up my 50-50 range of the entire cast. Leah Clark as Miss Kobayashi was spot on. Sometimes I think of it as an aged-up Haruhi, but not so deep, with a more desire to drink and otaku out. Well, I'm sorry I get your name pronunciation wrong, but Sarah Wineheth as Toru was a good emotional range for the character, but the voice at face value I had to get used to. It wasn't bad, in fact it was probably as close as we could get to the sub, but how do I put this? When I hear this rendition, I think of what would happen if Toru's Seiyu was fluent in English. Kind of. At least it wasn't Jad Saxton's performance of Kana, who, let's be honest, had a tall order to fill with voicing such a high-pitched, lolly character, while also trying to sound deadpan at the same time. I can understand where the difficulties are coming from. Not bad, I did like the soft tone of it, but it's also a gonna have to get used to type of situation. But you know what else was a wild situation? Realizing this kid almost got suffocated in his sleep through the power of Latin culture. Play us out, Travis. So I come before you with the question I asked at the very beginning. Why did this show have so much heart? Because I think it revels in the art of just wanting to enjoy itself. It's not like the type of enjoyment you get out of a raunchy, ecchi series, or a mind-numbing journey of a colorful isekai, or even quiet nature of other slice of lives. It takes the aspects of all three of these elements, and through clever joke and character writing, creates a Monster Girl series that feels handmade. Like it wasn't a show that was written for the masses, but caught on anyway. And I say this because of how down-to-earth yet okay Kobayashi is feeling, as she again is never plighted by too much protagonist baggage. The flaws I stated today are present, but I believe helps maintains the show's shine for better than worse. That's really all you can ask for a series that's made for entertainment in my book. So once the sun has set, school is now out, and a 50-pound serving of Dragon Tail is now on the menu, I award Miss Kobayashi's Dragon Maid with the recommendation to buy it and a watchability rating of PG. If you're fine with some dragon boob and many times that Fafnir curses death to all of humanity, then this show is harmless to watch as a family or with minors easily. You can check the series for streaming on Crunchyroll and or Funimation if you live in the US, UK, Canada, or Australia, with a home video release already out and in various places. For anime alternatives, 4 is on the saucy menu. First will be an interview with Monster Girls, a show I feel is also strong in the character department, and with a similar conversation of trying to bond with others despite differences that separate them. Next will be the 2 anime, The Devil is a Part-Timer and Amiki Brilliant Park, for its similar concepts of magical creatures trying to assimilate into modern society, with wacky hijinks ensuing. I'm just finding it funny that we are covering major parts of the workforce at the same time. Coincidences are colorful, aren't they? Which leaves our final anime of the day to be Steel Angel Kurumi. Season 2. Why? Because of the new take of the harem dynamic that I would feel Kobayashi would be in if she was still in high school and in a more action-oriented series. But beyond that, I hope my picks give you pleasure this lovely day. Well, I finally got that anime off my to-do list. It only took a couple of months, but that's the power of the YouTube algorithm and fan preferences, since honestly reviews aren't as popular as they used to be for AniTubers, but you know, I still like doing them, so I will try my best to balance them out between more engaging videos. Objectively. But wait, my anime list is running low. Whatever shall I do for request? Oh, you're about to find out. Here we go with another round of... And now it's time for the super duper end card review poll, the time where I present 3 anime suggested by you lovelies up for review. One will rise to the top of the priority list, while the others get Spartan kicked to the back of the line, waiting once more for a chance at glory. So here we go! Alright, to participate, vote at the poll shown above or comment down below. You can also suggest an anime to add to the queue, all with the hashtag #EndCardReviewPoll. The winner will be announced the following week on my social media, so make sure you check those out to not miss any of the action. Happy voting, everyone! Shannen out!